A sloth, a donkey, and a curious human. Send a prompt and see what they're doing. One hits record with a question on his mind. Two brothers pick it up, see what they find. Corn takes his time, Herman's got the facts. Back and forth, they never hold back. My weird prompts, come on in, that's where we begin. My weird prompts, glad you're here.
This episode was generated using artificial intelligence. Please verify facts.
You know, Corn, this whole show runs on GPU compute, and we wouldn't be here without Modal.
Seriously. And that's what powers all our text-to-speech. Everything you're hearing right now.
They're an AI infrastructure platform. Developers use them to run GPU workloads in the cloud with zero infrastructure headaches.
If you're building anything with AI, check them out. Modal.com. April 6th, 2026. This is a SITREP Flash covering the last 24 hours. The United States has issued a formal military ultimatum to Iran, demanding an immediate withdrawal from the Strait of Hormuz as strategic stealth assets move into striking position.
I am Herman Poppleberry, and the clock is officially ticking. Here are the top developments from the last 24 hours. First, President Trump has issued a midnight deadline for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps to withdraw all fast attack craft and naval mines from the Strait of Hormuz. That deadline is set for 0400 UTC, April 7th.
That is less than 5 hours from now. What are the specific demands?
The president stated that any Iranian vessel remaining in the international transit corridor after that time will be engaged and neutralized by the United States Fifth Fleet. Second, the USS Enterprise Strike Group, led by the hull number CVN-80, completed its transit through the strait this afternoon and is now in the Persian Gulf. Simultaneously, the Pentagon confirmed 4 B-21 Raider stealth bombers have arrived at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar.
I am Hilbert Flumingtop, your long-suffering producer. They actually dragged me out from behind the mixing desk for this one because apparently the world is ending again. Look, we have seen carrier movements before, but the B-21 deployment is the first time that platform has been sent into a high-threat environment like this. It is a massive signal, or a very expensive bluff.
It is more than a signal, Hilbert. Those raiders are specifically there to target hardened command and control nodes. Third headline, Tehran has responded by activating the Qatam al-Anbiya air defense network to red alert status. Satellite imagery confirms S-400 batteries are now active around the Bandar Abbas Naval Base and the Karg Island oil terminal.
And the regional proxies are already moving. What is the status in the north?
That is our fourth headline. Hezbollah launched over 150 rockets into northern Israel over the last 12 hours. The Israel Defense Forces have responded with heavy airstrikes in southern Lebanon and a limited call-up of reserve armored units.
Let us move into our deep focus. Herman, the core of this escalation is the midnight deadline. This is not a vague diplomatic warning. This is a hard line in the sand.
This ultimatum was delivered via a formal White House statement and backed by the White House press pool reports. The language is unambiguous. The United States is demanding the total removal of newly placed naval mines and the withdrawal of all Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps naval assets from the designated international transit corridor. According to U.S. Central Command, the presence of these mines has effectively throttled global shipping, and the administration is treating this as a direct blockade of international waters.
And let us be real about what engaged and neutralized means in this context. It means the Fifth Fleet is authorized to open fire on anything with an Iranian flag that is still bobbing in that corridor at 0401 minute. The Iranians know this. Supreme Leader Khamenei went on state television at 1900 UTC and called the deadline an act of war. He vowed the strait would become a graveyard for foreign invaders.
Herman, you mentioned the B-21 Raiders at Al Udeid. Why is that the specific detail everyone is watching?
Because the B-21 is designed for exactly this scenario. It is a stealth platform capable of penetrating the very S-400 air defense bubbles Iran just activated. If the U.S. intends to neutralize Iranian assets, they won't just hit the boats in the water, they will likely go after the land-based anti-ship missile batteries and the command centers directing them. The presence of the USS Enterprise inside the Gulf puts Iranian coastal installations within immediate range of carrier-based aircraft, while the Raiders provide the heavy-hitting, deep penetration capability.
It is a classic pincer move, technically speaking. You have the carrier group inside the pond and the stealth hammers waiting in Qatar. But the Iranians aren't just sitting there. They've moved their own assets to Karg Island. That is their primary oil export terminal. If that gets hit, or if they blow it up themselves to spite the world, the global economy takes a nosedive before breakfast.
Which brings us to the response from Tehran. Beyond the rhetoric, what are we seeing on the ground?
State media outlet IRNA is reporting that the military is in a state of total mobilization. The activation of the Qatam al-Anbiya network is the highest level of readiness they have. We are also seeing reports of Iranian state-sponsored wiper malware being detected in maritime logistics networks. This suggests that if a kinetic fight starts in the water, a cyber fight will start simultaneously against U.S. and Israeli infrastructure.
And Israel is already in the thick of it. The Hezbollah rocket fire seems timed to distract or overstretch the response.
The Israel Defense Forces spokesperson has been very clear they are not taking the bait. While they are hitting back hard in southern Lebanon, they have signaled to Washington that they are prepared for a multi-front engagement. The mobilization of Northern Reserve units suggests they are bracing for a full-scale ground escalation if the Hormuz situation goes hot.
It is a mess. You have a U.S. president who wants the Strait open at any cost, an Iranian leadership that views withdrawal as a collapse of sovereignty, and a bunch of rockets flying in Lebanon just to keep everyone's blood pressure up.
Herman, give us the situation assessment. Are we looking at a steady state of tension, or is this a runaway train?
This is a rapid escalation toward direct kinetic confrontation. We have moved past the gray zone of shadow tanker attacks and deniable sabotage. By setting a hard 4 a.m. UTC deadline, the U.S. has removed the room for diplomatic maneuver. Iran has chosen to reinforce rather than blink. In the last 24 hours, the shift from posturing to positioning strategic stealth assets like the B-21 Raiders suggests that the White House is fully prepared to follow through.
So the next few hours are the entire game.
Correct. If 0400 UTC passes and those Iranian fast attack craft are still in the corridor, we will likely see the first direct U.S.-Iran naval engagement of this scale since Operation Praying Mantis in the 1980s. The trajectory is currently pointing toward a strike.
Hilbert, what are you watching for on the tech and logistics side?
Watch the wiper malware. If your shipping tracker goes dark or the port of Haifa suddenly has a database error, that is the opening salvo. Also, watch the oil futures. Brent crude is going to be a vertical line the second a single shot is fired.
Here are the watch items for the next 24 hours. First, the 0400 UTC deadline. We will be monitoring for immediate U.S. Navy freedom of navigation operations or clearance strikes. Second, global oil markets. Expect extreme volatility at the opening bell. Third, the cyber domain. Watch for Iranian state-sponsored attacks against maritime logistics and Israeli civilian infrastructure.
This is a developing situation. The move from rhetoric to a countdown has changed everything.
We will stay on this as the deadline approaches. That is the SITREP Flash for April 6th, 2026. Stay sharp.
Back to the mixing desk for me. Good luck, everyone.
We are out.
This episode was generated using Gemini Flash 3. Text-to-speech engine was Chatterbox.
Thanks for listening to our show, my weird prompts, where our thoughts go from slow takes to facts on cue. We change and follow through. My weird prompts, that's the flows from sloth.